Hi guys, this is the shift from me to we. All of the previous shifts that we've looked at so far have been about gaining awareness of yourself, of your own mindset, of your own beliefs, your own patterns, your old patterns, your old thought, thinking, feeling, acting, thinking, feeling, behaving patterns. And through the process of bringing awareness, gaining clarity of self, inevitably it's going to allow you to begin to gain clarity of others. Because as you begin to recognize your own patterns, as you begin to recognize you are not your thoughts, you are the observer of thought, as you begin to recognize your own excuses and you find self-compassion and accountability, as you begin to recognize that you can build consistency when you stop relying on motivation. All of these mindset shifts that you're starting to uncover for yourself, it's allowing you to recognize, as you find clarity of self, clarity of others. And this is the heart of this shift, that once we begin to find clarity of self, since who we are, who we think we are, is really little more than our own personal collection of beliefs. And what we're doing through the process, through these shifts, is we're starting to bring our awareness to the old patterns, the old beliefs, and the old sense of self. So as we become more aware through that process, naturally we can find clarity of others. Clarity of self allows us to find clarity of others. And what we begin to recognize as we start to reflect on our own old patterns and let them go, and recognize what's in our control and what's outside of our control. When we find self-compassion, we find compassion for others. When we find self-worth, we find worth for others, we value others. And the more internal reflection we do, we become more and more aware that actually we are all the same. We do all share the same awareness at our core. We do all share the same energy. So the shift from me to we is recognizing that whilst we can make these shifts for ourselves, why we're really doing it is so that we can serve, so that we can help others. Clarity of self allows for clarity of others, and then ultimately clarity of purpose, because we each have a unique gift, we each have a unique awareness, we each have a unique character that no one else can bring. And clarity of self, allowing for clarity of others, then allows for clarity of purpose and begins to answer the question, how can I serve? Because that's all purpose really is. How do I serve? How do I serve others? How do I serve the collective? How do I serve society? How do I add value? And that's what we're all on a mission to be doing ultimately, is to add value, make an impact, leave a legacy. It doesn't have to be anything grandiose, but it's the acknowledgement, the recognition that whilst we might make the inward journey of awareness and self-reflection, ultimately it's so that we can become a better person. So me to we is the shift from acknowledging that it starts with me, and before I can see change in the world, I have to be able to change the lens through which I view the world. And when I'm able to do that, then I can start to think about how I can impact others, how I can inspire, how I can leave my mark, how I can leave my legacy. the shift from me to we, because it was never about you.